Mm-hmm. The linkage.
Yeah.
The best of links.
Links, all the links. I say all the Zeldas.
Alright. That was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad.
That was really bad, man.
It was incredibly bad. 100%.
No.
Absolutely terrible.
Never make that mistake again.
Never. Blasphemy.
It's Link, not Zelda, even though it's called The Legend of Zelda.
Right.
I don't know why they Legend of Link, more like? Because it's always about him?
It's one of those,
I really need someone to explain to me sometime why it's called Legend of Zelda.
It's one of those video game things where it's just like, you know, because video game, and they just never changed it. So anyway, with that being said,
we start off Destiny by talking about Legend of Zelda.
That's right. All right. So, first things first. Welcome to what is probably going to be definitely not the last talk about Destiny 2 Beyond Light and the future of Destiny. The closer we get to Beyond Light, of course, the more discussions we'll have, the different reveals that we will be talking about later on in today's stream. I am your host. It was weird to say. I am your host, Oteno, also known as Soto Entertainment, and I guess you would be my guest since you don't usually appear on Thursdays.
This is true. I don't.
Yeah. So
show up anymore.
And my guest, Neagle9. We're going to be discussing and talking about the future of Destiny 2 and where Destiny is headed from what was revealed and talked about and said in multiple TWABs ago, and some things that were revealed in a certain video that may or may not be under NDA. We'll talk about that as well, and we're also going to talk about like how RPGs work and why it could possibly work for the future of Destiny. But before we dive deep into any topic, of course, the sponsors for my streams, for as long as they decide to keep me around, TriumphChairs.com and EroxaIndustries.com. With TriumphChairs.com, they have really high quality and really well designed and well made gaming chairs. And if you use code OTEN, that's OTEN, for 10% off anything in that store. It's definitely a good deal. You should definitely check them out. They're great. And yeah. Eroxa Industries, they have computer peripherals. They have computer mice. They have the full-on full desk mouse pads. They have some that even light up. They have really nice keyboards, and they have pretty nice headsets. Also, the computer mice, they're really well designed, and they're really, really, really cool looking. And you can use the same code OTEN for 10% off. And thank you very much once again to Triumph Chairs and Eroxa Industries. That being said, how are you doing today, Neagle9?
Full. I had a big burger. So yeah, that's actually kind of a rare occurrence for me, since I actually have to trek quite a distance in order to get that stuff. So yeah, anyways. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. I'm going to be playing some strikes while we talk about stuff, because I dislike static images. So, but I will be flashing up all of the images that he's going to be talking about when I'm not in a strike or I'm tired of strikes. So yes, that is what he's going to be doing, and what I'm going to be doing.
And speaking of images and possible videos, these are images and videos that have been released to the public through press kits and all of that. They have been put on the Bungie websites for everyone to see. And so yeah, like there's nothing illegal about what is being shown,
this is
or
totally
what's being talked about.
We're okay.
Because there was no NDA to be broken or signed. This is everything that's released to the public through either video or TWAB or what Bungie has said on Twitter or stuff like that. It's all out there. So, yeah, just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. And now we will start with our first topic, the future of Destiny 2. We've had a few topics talking about, where it's going negatively. And I feel like we have talked like well enough about how bad the current state of the game is. And I think everybody can agree that the current state of the game is not the best. Looking at PvP, it is not great, with rampant cheaters and the removal of skill-based matchmaking and the very stale meta that we have currently. And then with PvE, it's a factor of standing still and using weapons that we've already been using, that we've been using for the past few seasons, like mountaintop and sniper rifles, and like just the whole stationary thing, with like having to put down a well of radiance and having
you stand in the buff, whatever the buff is,
exactly,
occasionally pop out of it to like move around because of the mechanics,
right?
But you just stand still and just lay pain down on the enemy.
Although
pretty much it.
Garden of Salvation was one of the few raids that actually like changed it up slightly for that formula.
Which is nice.
But I digress. We're going to be talking about not necessarily positives, not really negatives either. It's more of like a neutral stance and more informative this time around. And where we believe Bungie is taking Destiny, and where we can see it going if things go as the way Bungie actually wants.
Yeah, the way intended.
Right. So, first things first, to get it out of the way, Aztec Cross, pretty sure we all know him now. At least the Destiny community does. He made a video talking about how Beyond Light is basically Destiny 3. And he covers a few points about like how it's more of like a reboot, almost like a refresh of Destiny 2 without actually creating a Destiny 3. Purely because if they were, and it's just like Luke Smith said, if they were to start creating Destiny 3, they would have to stop Destiny 2, and Destiny 2 essentially would just die in order for like a complete refresh for Destiny 3, and then like they would have to, restart everything like they did at the beginning of Destiny 2, and they don't want to do that again. But where he admits that he might have messed up in was talking about the meeting that happened last fall with all the Destiny content creators and everything at the Bungie Summit, where they talked about the future of Destiny. And there were some points there made where the things going into the Destiny content vault is not to be like deleted forever, but it's to go into and be refreshed, worked on.
They're essentially just putting it in there so they can tinker with it off of the public eye and make sure it's running the way that they want it to.
Exactly. Plus, it'll give them a chance to actually, adapt them to the new systems and to refresh everything and give it basically a fresh new coat of paint with also fresh new parts working inside of it, which is great. And also, it was discovered on Twitter that because someone went back and like looked through the past TWABs, and apparently on June 9th, one of the TWABs actually said exactly that. So it's most likely that Aztec Cross didn't break any NDAs, because it technically is public knowledge. It's just no one paid attention. Right, because I think what people do is they don't read the whole TWAB. They just read the major parts, and then they go on, and then they just fill in the blanks. Which isn't necessarily a good thing when you're trying to look for information, because everything that's been put out is all information that was said, and I think people like just happen to miss like the smaller
like
details.
Skim it.
Yeah.
I skim it.
Right. So so yeah, there's that. But the thing is, going to the Destiny content vault for those that do not know, it is. Let me pull it up real quick. It was one of the It was the TWAB from last week. Things going into the vaults are, the strikes from Io, Titan, Mars, and Mercury. There are Gambit maps going into the vaults, Cathedral of Scars and Kel's Grave. There are
goodbye, Kel's Grave.
What? Right. There are Crucible maps going into the vaults: Meltdown, Solitude, Retribution, the Citadel, Emperor's Respite, Equinox, Eternity, Firebase Echo, Gambler's Ruin, Legion's Gulch, and Vostok. And the game modes going into the vaults are Supremacy, Countdown, Lockdown, Breakthrough, Doubles, Momentum Control, and Scorched. Although Momentum Control and Scorched will be returning sometime in Year 4. And with those things going away, it's the same thing with the planets going away. They're not gone forever. It's just they're going to be refreshed and redone and reintegrated in a way that better fits the system, and most likely it better fits the size that they're trying to make the game, because right now everything is too big, and there probably is some things that just aren't coming back, but it's the same thing for the raids that are going away as well. Like Leviathan, Eater of Worlds, Spire of Stars, Scourge of the Past, and Crown of Sorrows. For all we know, those may not ever come back, but they just might as well, because not only because of lore with the Leviathan, the fact that Callus is supposed to be a major character in this, era of darkness that we're entering, and it would make sense story-wise for the Leviathan to come back, but it could very much be a case of, we're going to redo these raids in a later date, probably in maybe in Year 5 or whatever, for like Savathun or for Lightfall, and it'll be better and fundamentally be better, and probably a lot of bugs will be fixed, because in reality, a good reason why they're refreshing a lot of these stuff is because there's a lot of bugs that are in Destiny 2, and you can't fix every bug, but if you pull things out a few at a time and work on those that have the most bugs, for example, because I don't know if this is true, but for the things that have presumably the most bugs, then you work on that, throw that back in when it's all good and ready to go, then you pull out some more and then do that and go back in until you have everything in a more stable state, because right now Destiny 2 is not as stable as it probably could be.
Yeah, if people are worried about pretty much how in game it's gonna function, you can just say anything and make it canon. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, but then you can just say later on how it should work.
Right.
I'm fairly certain they didn't really think about how what's this dude? The sniper, the one that killed Cade's ghost. That is wait.
The rifleman.
That was yeah, that guy. I'm fairly certain they didn't think about the actual paracausality of the ghost itself. So they were like, oh, wait, right, ghosts are not necessarily damaged normally by stuff. We'll just say that they use a thorn bullet, sure. So yeah, you can, and I can actually see, canonically speaking, that Callus will just redo the raids. Hey, you did these pretty well last time. I've upgraded it with a couple of robots and made it better. Here, try it again, because I want to watch you do it
Right.
for like a second time.
Because I'm pretty sure, like, if they were to implement like the Leviathan raids again with like new stuff, I'm pretty sure Callus's reasoning would just be like, I've noticed you've gotten stronger. Like I've seen you grow against the darkness, and I want to test that. I want to see that new strength, Guardian. Because he's all about that grow fat from strength. I can
see him just just do things. Just like, hey, I made it better. Do it again.
Yeah, 100%. And there is like it's just see that the thing is, people in the Destiny community, I think they failed to realize that this is how like RPGs kind of do things. They have it because it takes time. Because like everybody wants this game to be as great as it could, and we all want this game to succeed and be the best game that it could be. But sometimes, especially if they want to make it the action RPG that they really want it to be, especially now moving forward with Beyond Light, I believe that like people need to realize, since it's becoming like almost like an MMORPG, it's gonna take some time for things to be like good. Like, for example, like with World of Warcraft, of course everybody loved World of Warcraft, but it started getting a resurgence when that one Legion DLC or Legion expansion happened. And it's the same thing with Final Fantasy XIV, how like the game itself was dying. It died. And then the Fall of Dalamud happened, and this whole cutscene and everything, and then it got a rebirth with A Realm Reborn. And after that, it just skyrocketed. It's in the best state it's ever been, and it's probably arguably one of the best MMOs out there currently. One of the best. Of course, it's not flawless and it's not perfect, but it's not exactly trash either. But after, of course, it took a shorter amount of time, but eventually all games have to, especially live games like MMOs and like Destiny in this case, it does take some time for things to get in a really good spot, because Destiny just has to find that thing, that one expansion, that one update that'll just send it flying.
Yeah, exactly. Like in order to properly develop a world like they want to, they're going to have to spend a lot more time and a lot more money than they're probably willing to do, but they're going to need to do it and figure out how to do it. But yeah, it's in order for it to be properly actualized.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna take a while, and they're just going to have to keep afloat in the meantime.
I agree. Yeah, that's why that's why I'm okay in this regard. That's why I'm okay with giving Bungie my money, because I know because obviously they don't want their game to fail. And of course they care about the people playing and their consumers, because they want people to keep paying, and they want people to keep playing. So of course they're going to care 100% about what people say and what they think of their products. Try to put their best foot forward, because at the end of the day, Bungie is now an indie dev company, and they're working with what they have to try and give us. They try and appease all of our demands, and you have to give them props for that. Sure, Bungie has a lot of shortcomings, but they've done a lot for the community and for the game as a whole that we didn't think could happen, with the Whisper mission and the Outbreak Perfected mission, and just a lot of quality of life updates that brought life to the game for however amount of time. I mean, even though some of it was with Activision, Bungie took care of the game itself. Maybe not the monetization practices, but they took care of the game itself, and you have to give them some props for that.
Yeah, they're like I said, it's kind of crazy to think that they're now an indie developer, because for me, Bungie is one of the big names in gaming. It created Halo, and that was revolutionary for the time. So the fact that they've been reduced to an indie company is mind-boggling for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, I mean it. When you like separate from like a company that's been like supporting your project, it's very like it forces you to start at zero unless unless that game or that project you were doing is super successful. Destiny is very niche, at least it started that way, so it didn't.
Yeah, it was a novel concept.
Exactly, it didn't hit as hard as Halo or Call of Duty did. So they didn't have that base huge funding that they would have had if they were to separate from Activision and continue on doing what they want to do. They're starting to now, but like it's a lot slower than I think people want, and it's just getting people upset, which is understandable. But then again, it's just like you have to give them a little bit of a break in this situation, especially with like the way the world is currently, with like COVID and all that. Like it's just
times are rough.
It's almost not fair. It's almost not fair to like, and this is not us being like Bungie apologists or like social justice warriors for Bungie or like white knights for Bungie or anything like that. We're not here trying to defend them. It's just like I said, we're taking a neutral stance on it, and it's
2020 has not been kind on anyone.
Nope.
Let's just go with that.
I mean, like, look at the development for Cyberpunk. Like, they had to push it back. Like, they had to delay it. I'm pretty sure due to like COVID stuff, and the same thing with Final Fantasy 14, how they had to delay like a patch update because like they have to work from home. It's just an unfortunate situation that we're in. And that's the same. That's for the developers and like the live team for games.
It could be worse. At least it's not set back a couple of years.
Exactly.
Like the next Elder Scrolls is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was supposed to be put out like in a couple of years from now. Mm-hmm. Now it's gonna be set back like double that.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just rough.
Yeah.
But I believe like other than World of Warcraft and like Final Fantasy, I'm pretty sure that I think there's like other examples of like MMOs or RPGs specifically where they have to go through so much in order to like get to the good place that they ended up at.
My game crashed, by the way.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, good thing I have the image screen on my screen.
Yep. I believe you mentioned that like RuneScape was one of them.
Yeah. So I am like one of the well, not one of the originals, but I'm like one of the old guard when it comes to that game. I quit like a couple years ago because I finally started like dwindling in interest as things progressed. Did consider doing what is essentially a Nuzlocke for that game, but that would require me to do a completely brand new character, which I'm not sure I'm willing to do just yet. But I was like a couple, like 1 or 2 years away from being one of like the originals that started the game. So I watched the entirety of its development, and there was a point sometime when I think it was, oh god, I can't even put a time frame on it, Jesus. Yeah, that long ago, where they had like massive like upgrades and stuff, where they changed the combat system completely. They changed the graphics so drastically that I do not recognize the old version anymore. And then they like upgraded like so many just quality of life things that they actually rebranded the entire thing as RuneScape 3 for a while. They skipped 2. They just straight up passed by 2 and it's like, no, it's so different, we're gonna go to 3. So yeah, and it really did drastically change the game. They even had quote-unquote bot nuking day a couple of times in a couple of different years. But yeah, it's like just to change the landscape of the game, and it really did. And that's just kind of something I take for granted, I think, for a lot of RPGs, that things can be radically altered to that extent. where like
100%.
complete land masses are like reconfigured, and the system itself is overhauled. So yeah, and yeah, that's so for when Ethan here was talking about, like, I think it was like Wednesday morning
Yeah.
that we were talking about this. That was like, hey, we're not doing a Valorant stream. We're gonna be talking about this instead. I'm like, okay, but why? Well, because the video. Like, yeah. Well, it's essentially like a new game. Yeah. Why aren't you shocked about this? Isn't this normal? It's like I didn't really consider like big news. It was just like, okay, they're finally doing this. Good.
Yeah, because I think that, like, I think Bungie, and much to their credit, has finally realized that, like, okay, we need to, like, just essentially do this thing regardless of how people may feel about it, and we have to just show them that, like, this is going to be good for the game in the long run, regardless of how much people yell about it or how much people, quote unquote, don't like it or maybe like misinterpret information. Because when they see it, they're just gonna be like, oh, okay, good job, Bungie. and like it sucks that that's what they kind of have to do. It's more like you have to prove yourself now, Bungie.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they messed up a little bit too much.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, cause like
there's some leeway with this stuff, but
yeah,
there's leeway, and then there's just messing up.
Right, exactly. And unfortunately, that was the case where with Trials of Osiris, and
oh, they botched that hard. That was the whole selling point for a season.
Yeah,
and they messed that up beyond recognition.
Exactly. It just didn't pan out good, and I honestly believe that, like, they're going to, like, fix that and make that a whole lot better. I think that's also going to come with, like, the whole anti-cheat thing. And, like, the thing with anti-cheat that, like, I think people, like, fail to understand purely because either they haven't played, like, other competitive games like that, or they haven't, like, played PC shooters. But
yeah, PC shooters.
Yeah, like purely specifically PC shooters, where there's always some form of hacker or cheater or exploiter, and it's purely because, and I've told Neil this, that, like, a lot of people just don't have honor. They want to do things the quick way, and they just want to get things fast and done quick.
Ego boost.
Yeah, and they also, like, boost themselves. They inflate their elos by, like, playing with, like, people that are higher so they can have an easier time and stuff like that. And, like, it's just, it sucks. But, like, even things with anti-cheat, like, you can have a really good anti-cheat, like Valorant does with like Riot's whole Vanguard thing with their anti-cheat. That's actually pretty strong. But, like, because I was talking with a friend the other day, and they said the same thing, but they said that eventually, like, even though it's pretty rare, you will run into some hackers or cheaters in Valorant.
Yeah, okay, so cheating is just, honestly, I think that is a animalistic trait that's been carried over throughout the eons.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole point of cheating is you're doing something more efficiently. And
right.
You're instinctively doing something that is consuming less energy, and using less energy is beneficial on a biological level for you. So
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like, cheating is instinctual, I believe.
Right.
So yeah, yeah, like, people will cheat in anything. I've seen people cheat in tic-tac-toe.
Right, exactly.
Like, it's that bad.
Exactly. Yeah, so like
seriously? Like, why? Just why?
Yeah, and then another thing about anti-cheat is the fact that, like, Bungie could come up with, like, this great and incredible anti-cheat for Beyond Light and moving forward, but then the moment that, these hackers get their hacks, like, blocked or whatever, they can pretty much almost instantly, guaranteed, get a better hack that's going to be a lot harder to, like, well, that basically bypasses, their Bungie's new anti-cheat. So, like, you definitely, in Bungie's case, you definitely have to plan like probably months ahead, thinking like, okay, what are the possible cheats that could happen that we should prepare against? And like, I think in that regard, people need to give Bungie a little bit of a break, because of course you can't tell and give detail on like, you know, what you're doing, because
I don't think Bungie's prepared for the PC scene, honestly.
yeah, and that too. Like what I was about to get into that. We're like, like, because Destiny has always been on console, and then the moment they moved to PC, things were fine. But then
Bungie's always been on console.
Right, exactly. And the moment they moved to PC, which was fine, they did okay. But then when they did something big like Trials, I think they were like ready for it, but they weren't expecting the hackers and how bad the hacking was going to be. Because for PC gaming, there's just hackers in general. There always will be, especially like in MMOs, although they do get banned and stuff and reported and stuff like that. There's still
just make another one.
Exactly, like there's bots in current MMOs that are just in like, you know, the beginner towns or whatever, and they're always like, you know, trying to sell like gold or something like that.
World 1.
Right, exactly. So like there's always some form of cheating, but like I don't think Bungie was just realistically prepared for the amount of hackers and cheating there was actually going to be. Because I feel I feel like they knew, but like they didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
They knew, but they didn't know.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Like, I'm pretty sure they had a general idea, but I don't think they actually like holistically knew how bad it was going to be.
Moving forward with all of that, Beyond Light is going to have issues. Like, that is a guarantee.
Oh, 100%.
It's going to have a lot of problems, and I'm dreading the Crucible in future because of all those freezing abilities.
Right.
Oh god, I've seen the abilities.
Yeah.
Oh god, I'm terrified.
For those that don't know,
man.
For those that don't know, and it was revealed in the gameplay trailer that I will start playing with muted audio.
Yes.
Is that the new stasis abilities, they essentially are a heavy form of CC. They don't just slow you down; they straight up freeze you in place. Everybody has an ice wall grenade. Everybody has a stasis field grenade, and I believe there's something else. But they have all this CC, and especially the supers, as you guys will see, with the warlock. You know, the initial super is like an AoE freezing field that can also like destroy things.
So for the uninitiated, what is CC?
CC is crowd control. It's essentially anything that stops you from moving, or like slows you down, or like debuffs you in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And
but if you bring that into a 1v1,
it can get very one-sided. And I think that like I think it's a matter of like, if they're using it, it's free range because you can also use it. But
yeah, well, it turns into a who can one-shot who first.
Yeah, and that also comes with like the current state of the game as well.
Exactly. So yeah, they're gonna need to balance that very quickly, otherwise they're gonna have major issues.
See, like, and I feel like they are, because like I'm pretty sure they know how strong initially stasis is. Like, because you can just look at the trailers that we've seen. It's just like, okay, that's gonna be really strong in PvE and in PvP.
Yeah, I have to deal with ice mages in 2 different games, totally unrelated games, but both instances, me playing a melee-based class, which essentially that's what I am in Destiny. I am slowed like there's no tomorrow, and I cannot reach them because my limbs are frozen to the ground. So that leaves me completely vulnerable to whatever they want to do to me, which is usually kill me.
Yeah, because like I've seen on Twitter like suggestions for like balancing it a little bit, where like they want it to be like depending on like the enemy, like how long the duration is. So people are saying that like hopefully for Guardians, like the duration is like the shortest, because like it just wouldn't be fair.
We need it to be nanoseconds long.
Well, like not necessarily nanoseconds, but like let's say for example, well yeah, well yeah. I feel like another way to balance it is just to not have it stack. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say for example, you know, you as the hunter, you yeet your stasis field grenade and it like captures 2 people or whatever, and then I decide to throw my stasis grenade on there. I feel like it wouldn't add anything. It would just be part of it, but then like it wouldn't
re-up.
Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't re-up or just add anything to the grenade itself. Because if anything, like I think it would just hold them in place, but it wouldn't like hold them down longer. Because then you could just chain CC and then no one would like that.
Exactly. Which is what I'm afraid is going to happen.
Yeah.
I've had major problems with that in the past. Where it's like it just stun lock me, essentially.
Right, and I feel like that necessarily just won't happen. I don't think Bungie would like allow that to happen. Because of course they want us to feel strong, but they don't want instant complaints right off the bat. Because guaranteed they know. They must know.
They have to.
I mean, they designed the subclasses. They must know. And speaking of the subclasses, it was revealed today in Gamescom this morning that, as I'm showing the trailer that was revealed, it was revealed that we got the name of the subclasses. And essentially what they do, for the Warlock, it's Shade Binder. Essentially what the Warlock does is, you know, they create a staff, and when they do like the AoE attack, it shoots out like shards of ice or whatever. It freezes enemies. It can also like break things. And then I think it seems like their melee ability is like shooting out the little ice balls or whatever.
Yeah, it reminds me of the fire, like celestial fire thing.
Yeah, but it seems a lot slower.
It does seem slower, but it seems more impactful.
Yeah. And then next is the Hunter. They're calling it Revenant. And unlike the Warlock, and you'll soon see the Titan, it seems like the Hunter is the only one that doesn't have the roaming super this time.
Yeah, which is an interesting one because we have so little just yeet supers.
True.
I did the yeet hand motion.
But
no one can see that, but I did it.
Yeah, but I feel like with how they mentioned that the subclass trees for stasis is going to be a bit more like fleshed out, where like we can like it's more customizable. I feel like there is a version of the Revenant where it will be a roaming super. Because like I feel like each class, each new stasis subclass is gonna have like their own like different thing, where it's just gonna be like, oh, this version of it is, you know, a one-use thing, where this version of it is like, you know, you can roam around. At least that's how I feel it's gonna go. But of course we'll have to see, and like we will actually get more detail on the subclasses like in September. We'll get detail on the Warlock one on September 1st, Titan on September 3rd, and the Hunter on September 8th. So yeah, let's show what the Hunter has. So the Hunter will be throwing like these dual commas, and they can like it essentially, like the first one like freezes a field, like an area, and then the second one kind of like detonates everything, which I think is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. They also have
detonator.
Yeah, they also have like their shuriken that they can throw. It can like bounce off of stuff, as you'll see in the trailer.
Everything.
It's real nice.
People that are good at geommetry. Whew,
oh yeah, it's real nice. And then last they showed off the Titan, which is Behemoth, and essentially it's very similar to Destiny 1 Titan Smash, but there's a lot. It feels like a lot more. which is kind of cool. And they mixed it essentially with D1 Titan Smash with it seems to be a weaker Thunder Crash, and like it doesn't have much range.
I'm interested in what it can do.
Yeah, because like of course we see it one shot like normal frozen enemies, but I feel like it's not going to be as strong as it seems.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of gotta either they're gonna need to buff it, or it kind of gets like, I don't know. I really don't. Maybe it's utility. Who knows?
I mean, yeah. For all we know, it definitely could be utility. Cause like it's definitely because like I'll show a video next where we'll actually see the subclass in action, but it definitely seems like it's meant to just purely break stuff that you freeze. You know, like because it feels like a shoulder charge as well, kind of like how like Bottom Tree Striker is, except it doesn't seem as strong as that, and it only seems like it breaks things that are frozen. It doesn't seem like it's gonna do a lot of damage.
Exactly.
If you're not frozen,
it's meant to detonate.
Yeah, it's definitely meant to shatter than it is to like do straight up damage.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like obviously, like, raid bosses won't freeze, or like strike bosses won't necessarily be completely frozen. I mean, maybe they will, but like
maybe that's part of the mechanic. I don't know.
But assuming that like bosses won't just instant freeze and then you can just insta kill them, but I feel like it right. But I feel like it would be more like a buff thing where like if you use a shatter ability on a frozen target or a frosted target or something like that, or however they want to do it. It'll just be like a large amount of damage because you are breaking the ice on them, even though you're not necessarily breaking them. So I feel like it's something like that, but it won't be like an insta kill outside of something actually being frozen. Because like I feel like stasis in general is just a lot of setting up, and then either you break it or your ally breaks it. Seems like a lot of utility more than like, an aggressive damaging super like Spectral Blades or Nova Bomb.
With your like melee, and that probably frosts them, maybe, if it doesn't outright kill them.
Maybe.
Yeah, depends on how tanky, I guess, the opposition is.
Yeah.
And then you come in with your super to finish them off, maybe.
Right.
Or you have a teammate that is like setting up for you.
Exactly.
It might be the hunter, the shurikens.
Yeah, that's true. Because like you could very much just like, for example, let's say I use my like Warlock healing rift or whatever, and it sends out like the ice thing where like it freezes the enemies around me.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you come in either with like Golding on you just getting kills, or you just throw your shuriken and it like bounces off a wall and like kills some, or like just like bounces off of them and kills them. However, it's done.
Do you want to address the fact that all classes get Ice Wall?
Yeah.
So address that for a few seconds.
Yeah.
That single thing, the fact that everyone gets this, literally changes the landscape.
Yeah, 100%.
So, like, oh man, I don't even know where to begin with this.
It's funny you mentioned that because at the part of the trailer that I'm showing right now, the not the hunter but the Titan threw the ice wall at the part on Distant Shore.
Yeah, I
and
remember that.
It just creates the wall, and because it that blocks the grenade launcher shot. So like, I'm pretty sure the grenade launcher shot still breaks that part of the wall because it seems like it's in sections.
But it doesn't break all of it.
It doesn't break all of it. So
it's like the Jade wall.
Exactly.
From Valorant.
Exactly. So like it seems like it breaks a part of it, or however much damage it does, or however big the AoE is. It breaks however big that area of effect is, but then you can still jump over and like use your super or something, or like Nova Bomb that, or like something. Because like it seems like the ice. That's why I said the ice abilities, specifically the ice wall, is definitely used more as utility, because not only can you use it, yeah,
that's
like
what it is.
100%. Because like not only can you block stuff with it, but you can freeze people with it. You can climb on it. It adds. It's gonna add so much to the gameplay, not just in Crucible, but in PvE.
Okay. Imagine just any like team of 2 going into the Crucible or anywhere, honestly. They can ice wall on top of an ice wall, and then another person can jump on top of that. And if they're a warlock and using that one specific subclass, they can then float to the top of the map with a sniper rifle and just sit there.
Well, not even that, right? Like, because let's say, for example, you throw the ice wall and it blocks like an area for me, and I jump up there. If assuming this is how it works, assuming the enemy team can also break the ice wall, which they can, which we've seen, if someone Nova bombs the ice wall and I'm near the ice wall, I feel like I will get residual damage.
Yeah, probably.
And like that adds, because like it adds so much to the gameplay. It adds so much to the gameplay on both ends. But that's why like I feel like it's a lot more balanced than the community actually thinks it's actually going to be, because we see enemies breaking the ice. We've also seen allies break the ice, and I feel like if you Nova bomb an ice wall, you Nova bomb the enemy's ice wall, it's going to shatter, but the enemy will take the damage instead of you, and vice versa. Like if I were to Nova bomb your ice wall, for example, or like Adam's ice wall, he won't take the damage, but the person near that will take the damage, not only from the Nova bomb, but like from the ice shattering.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting concept. Like I want to see more about like how it will actually play out. I'm pretty sure we'll find out more the closer we get to Beyond Light release, but it's very interesting. It's going to be adding a huge element to Crucible that I think might actually be really cool and a really nice change up the way we play.
I'm just terrified of ice, I'll be honest. Like I think I have a minor phobia against ice at this point.
That's fair.
Based on my experiences in real life and in video games.
That's 100% fair. Because I mean, like, for all we know, like, it might be pretty easily avoidable as well.
Who knows? Like, all these things seem pretty slow motion.
Yeah, because if you notice in the trailer, like, we'll look at the throwing the wall grenade. That mess is slow.
It is. Like, really slow. And I know for a fact that you can shoot stuff out of the air. Like 100%.
Oh, 100%
Even
you
grenade
can.
launcher can be shot out of the air.
Yeah,
on a fallen catch.
Yeah, and I mean, sure, like the gameplay in the video is slowed down for dramatic effect, but like, you throw a grenade, it doesn't come out fast, unless it's like, you know, an energy grenade, like the vortex grenade, or like, you know, like the seeker mine grenade that that the hunter has. It's a physical thing that they're throwing for the wall. Now for the where's the hunter one? For the stasis one, it seems, for the stasis field one, it seems very similar as well. Like looking back at the warlock portion, he throws the grenade like at the ground, but it didn't seem to come out like very fast either. Like if we look at the hunter one as well, it seems to be like,
yeah, for all this stuff, it takes a second. It takes a little bit of time for it to activate.
Yeah,
it takes a little bit of time to get to location.
It also seems like the radius isn't that big. So like, cause like I also assume that like if you step into the fields, it'll freeze you.
Probably, or it'll like slowly frost you over.
Right, but like I'm pretty sure you can, like, if you're outside of it, you guarantee you can shoot through it. So if you miss and you're not using the wall grenade, you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
You're either going to get sniped.
No, what I'm looking forward to is the crushing ability. You get into a closed quarter place, you just yeet one of those icicle things straight up. Oh man!
Oh
you
boy!
Got splattered, dude, there.
That's actually true though.
You splattered yourself by accident.
Now that would be interesting.
No, because it'll propel you. We saw from the very first trailer of Stasis that you can actually yeet yourself places.
True.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for people to accidentally yeet themselves off the map.
That would be hilarious.
It's gonna happen, I swear.
But to go into more detail on Stasis, Bungie released, like I mentioned in the beginning, Bungie released a like a press release, like a press kit, like video and everything as well. And we'll just show it now and then talk about it. Of course, they show like Fallen Catch. They show a little bit more of Europa, and they go into a little bit more detail for the subclasses. And it shows some of the gear, it shows some Titan action, it shows the wall, and the Nova Bomb, and it shows a little bit more of the enemies. They have the Warlock Super, it shows the Titan, like, sliding and freezing enemies, which is an interesting effect. That might be, I wonder if that's an exotic, though, kind of like Antaeus Wards. I don't know, we'll have to see.
Yeah, like, I'm assuming there's going to be specifically new gear for all of this.
Oh, 100% there is.
No idea what it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, like we'll see how the Titan and Hunter subclasses actually work in a few seconds. But yeah, I just want to say, Europa looks great, by the way.
Yeah, I don't like the cold.
See the
it's pretty.
It's pretty. Very pretty. Okay, so here is the Titan gameplay. So you seem to be like it seems you don't have to smash in the super. You can just, after you freeze something, you just run by it, and you kind of just if you run into it, you'll like break it, because the Titans kind of like get like an icy coating, which seems very interesting. But I think like you actually do damage if you like smash into it with the super. Mm. So they don't show much of the Warlock, but with the Hunter, we'll see the Hunter ability in action. And also, if you notice in the corner, it actually shows the name of the super, not the subclass. The name of the super for the Hunter is Silence and Squall. And if you notice, the melee ability is is 2 charges, probably one for each, probably one for each comma. I think, because like he'll throw one shuriken, and then he'll throw another, and it seems the shurikens.
Excuse you?
What? Well, okay. He throws the commas.
You're a fellow weeb. You
That's
know
true.
what it is.
That's true. Yeah, he'll throw the commas, and it seems not only do they like break and do damage, but it seems they also suppress, which is very interesting. And I feel like, go ahead.
It seems like they go different directions as well. Like one's vertical, one's horizontal. At least from what I saw. Yeah,
100%. Like the stasis field one is horizontal, and is vertical, and then the one that shatters is horizontal.
So what I'm curious about is what are the radius of that, and is there tracking?
That's a good question.
Yeah, like, could you accidentally clip a wall with one of these things and it detonates early?
I mean, probably. Because I feel like it's one of those, if you miss, there's going to be like a detonation period. But if you hit, it's like going to be instant.
Mm. So, yeah, okay. With those yeet supers, I'm always kind of afraid that I'm going to be accidentally just, like, there it goes. Whoops. Like, that's why I don't typically use the Blade Barrage, because I'm just like, oh, I hit it at the wrong time. I thought I was using something else.
Yeah. Because I feel like that's how the Revenant, or the Squall one. I forgot what the first part of that is.
Silence and Squall.
Silence and Squall. I feel like Silence and Squall is exactly that. But like I feel like it's more you're placing a trap, essentially. But unfortunately, I think unless they add an exotic where you can like hold off on using the second comma,
or have more.
Like
symbiote.
Yeah, right. Like I feel like they probably will add an exotic where you can either do more, or they'll have a part of the subclass tree where there's a perk that allows you to do more but probably less damage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like it has like more ability to freeze and does more damage, but only if you break.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
that seems
the Titan one is called a Glacial Quake.
Glacial Quake.
Yeah.
Can I just remember what are the taglines for all these new subclasses, by the way?
Uh,
It's like I know the Titan ones is like, oh yeah, you're like you hit like an avalanche or something.
yeah. I can actually pull up.
Or the Hunters, I think, was like Be the Storm or something.
I believe let me get to it. The Warlock was Fracture with Frost, and the Hunter was Bring the Storm, and Titan was I might have skipped it. Titan was Crash Like an Avalanche.
There we go.
So yeah, it's all very interesting.
Non sequitur. A dude named Agony died.
Okay.
It's complete non sequitur there. I just thought it was funny. So yeah,
funny.
all those things are indicating that this is like the power of like the storm, like a blizzard, I should say.
Yeah.
Not any storm, but yeah, like all like wintry based.
100% it is.
At least cold based.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if you really think about like what defines ice is the fact that we use terms like, oh, he's going at a glacially slow pace or something like that. Like we always refer to ice as slow because, as I can attest to, when you're going in there, everything has to slow down because if you move too fast, you start overheating, and when you overheat, you sweat, and if you sweat, the sweat freezes, and suddenly you lose a finger.
Right.
So everything has to be kind of going at a slow, consistent pace. But because of that, you also build up a lot of muscle because you're like trudging through things and you have to carry things and a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, like it makes sense that it's going to be slow but strong.
Right.
The utility part is kind of, well, go figure. It's like, hey, it's ice. It freezes you.
True.
Wow. Entropy.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's very... I like stasis. I think it's going to add a whole bunch to the game and the way we play the game. And I don't know if it's exactly going to be meta, although it shouldn't matter, because new stuff is always, should at least be tried. And I think it's going to be a really cool thing to just be able to use. Because one, because it's different, and two, because it looks really strong.
I have no staff. I'm supering and I have no staff.
Interesting.
What? Okay. So yeah, we're gonna be just having a blast with all the new ice abilities.
It's gonna be great, honestly. I think so. Because I know for sure I'm gonna be using my super a lot on just a group of enemies, just jumping in and like falling in and just bah.
Just yeet.
Yeah, but like one thing I am curious though is if the hunter is the only one that creates like suppression, like because their melee ability not only does it like break, but it also suppresses enemies that don't die right away.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like the other abilities either do the same or something similar. Because if that's the case, then the Warlock would be the only one that doesn't have a suppression ability.
Yeah, well, in that case, then if you can't play around with it, like I'm hoping that you can, that means that you actually have to play off of each other.
Yeah, it kind of creates a weird thing almost.
So what happens to the people that are by themselves?
Yeah.
Which, even as a solo player, I do not recommend.
Exactly.
It's just, you can't do it nearly enough.
Right. So, I mean, we're definitely gonna have to mess around a whole bunch with it, but it definitely seems very interesting to have the ability to straight up freeze stuff and like break things, and I think it's really cool. But we definitely have to see how well it is in like a live, fire exercise essentially. I'm excited though. I must say, I'm really excited about all this. I think it's gonna be great. I think it's a nice step for Destiny to add something fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, there's like so many unknowns right now, and honestly, that kind of excites me.
Yeah, me too. And of course,
So,
go ahead.
I was just about to say, like, okay, regarding the plot overall, the narrative that they've been building so far.
Oh
the
yeah.
fact that they had to push it back.
Yeah.
So, this week was supposed to be like the last week, right?
No.
Oh.
Technically, looking at the calendar, we would have had, 2 weeks left for this next week, and then the week after are the last 2 weeks for the story.
Okay.
And then,
right.
assuming things go as planned, even with the delay, we should be getting the quest portion for Travelers Chosen the same week. It's our last week for the story. And then after that, normally we would have 2 more weeks, which is the week of the 15th and the week of the 22nd. Well, no, technically only 1 week. The week of the 15th to essentially prepare for Beyond Light. Now we have a whole extra month. And
so yeah, there's going to be a dearth of stuff to do.
Right.
But regarding the story, so I haven't been doing the actual, things I'm supposed to be doing for Eris.
Uh-huh.
So how has it been progressing? I've heard tale that the last one was a bit ominous, to say the least.
Yeah, so the one before this week kind of was almost as if almost trying to insinuate the fact that like someone that we trust might be like a spy or something. And it seems like the darkness is just trying to like dissuade us from like, our allies. And then I believe the one this week was talking about how like Sabathoon's acting like a child in all of this, like almost kind of like talking bad against almost both sides, because it seems like the darkness is like its own thing, and it's not on the side of Sabathoon.
I think it's its own entity.
Oh, 100% it is. Because the pyramids seem to have like their own agenda. Because like of course, because the Sabathoon is trying to like harness this, but the darkness is just like, you know what? I kind of like you Guardians more, because you're not afraid to use power you don't know about, and you're cool. I like you.
What do we really know about the light?
Right, exactly. And I think like with these last 2 weeks, it's gonna like I think next week and the week after are gonna be pretty story heavy, where we're gonna have like 2 different distinct things happening compared to how the rest of the season went. Not to say that the rest of the season was bad, it's just the story portions were very light, and like there wasn't much to go off of other than the Ruinous Effigy part, and like just hearing Eris talk about what the darkness is saying. But I won't exactly reveal what possibly could be happening due to people not wanting spoilers. There is some data mine stuff where like some stuff was shown that we could possibly be getting, and who we possibly could be fighting in this last part, and it's just very interesting. And I wonder, like,
we're gonna be fighting an undead Cade.
No. But that would be interesting though. But nah. But
that would be bizarre.
It would be. But I think that if anything, either it will be these last 2 weeks or it'll just be the last week, which is fine too. Because they usually like to
no,
save...
Riven had a daughter. Her name's Craven.
Craven.
And she's out for blood.
That would be funny. Oh, no, but I feel like... Because Bungie has also done it in the past where, like, it's just the final week that has all the cool stuff. But it wouldn't surprise me if, like, you know, the second week and then the final... Well, the second to last week and then the final week both has, like, some really interesting stuff. But it wouldn't be beyond Bungie to just save everything for the last week, which is still just as good. But yeah, it seems like the story is definitely setting up to this whole Savathun fight. That's definitely going to be happening in Hive Queen. Either we'll get like introduced to Savathun, and like she'll be the major threat for Lightfall, or we actually like deal with her there in like her own raid, kind of like how we did with Oryx. What do you think?
I really hope it's another Oryx raid because that was a good raid.
It was
frustrating at times, but it was so good.
It was really good.
I never actually finished the entire thing start to finish, but I did do the ending, and the moment when he comes back, I'm just like, no!
Yep.
I was terrified. I was like, we killed you!
Right.
Why? So yeah, I'm very excited for a full-on raid. If they do another dirty like they did Nokris, then come on.
Yeah.
Or Zol?
Right, yeah, they did Zol dirty. No, but I definitely feel like if they are going to do something as massive as that, since like, you know, the Hive have always been like the main
Our
focus,
primary enemy.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
More so than any other like race.
Yeah,
any
so
other enemy type. The variant of enemies either.
Right. I feel like it's gonna be another Oryx situation with Savathun where we'll probably kill, or we think we'll kill Savathun in the story, and then it's just like, oh, turns out we were deceived heavily, and Savathun got a lot of power from that, and now we have to go into her throne world, and we have to destroy her there because...
Well, I'm also of the mind that she's never gonna fight us directly. She's gonna be using like the Callus method and just fight us with proxies.
I feel like...
That's more her style, I think.
I feel like that's probably what might happen in Hive Queen, and then we'll probably actually end up killing her, like we killed Oryx in Lightfall.
Yeah, here's another question: where's Sivu Wrath?
Exactly.
I'm just like,
see the
proxy,
thing,
possibly.
See, the thing is, if we do end up fighting Sivu Wrath instead of Savathun, that would actually be a really cool twist. Because let's say, for example, we kill like a version of Savathun, like actually, and then, you know, it's the whole throne world thing, like how we did with Oryx, and we go in and we're fighting her, and let's say we kill her, right, and inside of like her throne world or whatever, and then the illusion fades and we actually killed Sivu Wrath. That would be such a huge twist.
It would be perfect, honestly.
It would be such a huge twist for the lore as well, and it would make so much sense because we would just see this whole thing where it's just like, oh, it turns, that wasn't actually Savathun. She's a lot stronger than we thought she was.
No, then she would be even stronger because
100%.
Another Hive God.
Yep.
From her machinations.
And the thing is, like, that would also increase her power even more because of the sword logic.
Isn't that how Oryx got his power?
Yeah.
Like, straight up? Because he killed his siblings?
Yeah. So that's how the sword logic works.
Yeah, she'd be stronger than Oryx at that point.
She would literally be the strongest of the three.
That killed him.
Yep. And use that manipulation once again to kill another one, another sibling.
Yeah, that would make her way stronger. That is nuts.
Yeah,
well,
that would be insane.
Bungie, if you're listening, please.
Please, please, Bungie, please. Love it. But watch Bungie be like, oh, take that, write that down. That's good, actually. Wait. No, but like I feel like with the direction that it could definitely take the story, and with the way with everything that we've been shown, I feel like Destiny could actually end up being really good, at least by the end of year 4. Because
it's a long wait, but for some of this stuff, it's worth it.
Yeah, actually, because like if we let's say PvP doesn't get fixed your season 12, but it gets fixed like season 14 or something, it'll still be worth doing the PvE stuff because the story is going to be so rich. Like there's going to be a lot, it seems like because Beyond Light definitely seems more story heavy and PvE driven, which is kind of nice almost, because other than for season of Dawn and season of Arrivals, which is this season, it's been very lackluster for the PvE portion. So
yeah,
it would just feel nice to have like a very PvE heavy drop of content. And it seems like it's going to be like that for like at least the first the first 2 seasons, because they are not only are they adding like Europa and stuff like that, but they're adding like older stuff from Destiny 1, like the Cosmodrome, and probably a few other stuff like Venus, since they're adding Vault of Glass.
Dude, running Vault of Glass with a Void Hunter. Oh my god.
That's going to be wild.
I've been wanting to do that for so long. Because after Taken King came out, I never touched Vault of Glass.
Yeah.
So I was just
you didn't have a reason to.
Exactly. Being a Night Stalker in Vault of Glass, that's... Oh my god, I'm gonna love that so much.
I will say, as someone who did Vault of Glass again in the final year for Destiny 1, it was really cool having Atheon get tethered. Just saying. Tethered for that extra bit of damage. It was real cool. But I'm
also looking forward to shoving him off the edge again.
Yeah, that would be funny. If we're able to do that, that'd be funny. I doubt
it has to be like a hidden achievement that they're gonna be putting in. They have to put it in.
I sure hope so.
Come on.
I hope so. But yeah, like I think it's safe to say I'm very excited for the future of Destiny, purely because of the potential it has. Of course, we've only seen like promotional material and like what could be, and they've talked about what they want to do, and what they are starting to do. But everything, and like we've talked about in the reveal stream way back when they announced Beyond Light, everything on paper seems really good. Really, really, really good.
Almost too good.
Yeah. Almost too good.
Superfluous. No.
Yeah, like almost too good actually, because seeing the state of Destiny 2 now, it seems like it's almost impossible for Bungie to come back. But they're showing
they really dug themselves into a hole, so they got a lot of digging to do.
Yeah,
to get out.
But like they're showing that like they have the power and the potential to actually get out of the slump that they're in, the slump that the game's in, and that makes me excited. Because I really hope and I really want Bungie to just pull out of this and just be like, yeah, you're going to love this because you do love it, and it's just like, oh, I love this. I didn't want to love it at first, but I love this. And I guarantee a lot of people are probably going to be like, I hate that I love this, but I can't deny how good it is.
I hate that I love this. Oh man, that's a mood.
Yeah. I think like PvP is just going to improve as well. Not only because like of the obvious changes that Stasis is going to bring, but like guarantee there's going to be like some sandbox changes that are just going to be like chef's kiss. Like it's just going to be so good. Like, and see, the thing is, right, I'm not expecting it to be like really, really, really good right out the gate. And I think a lot of people are expecting it to be really good right out the gate. Because although I did say, like, right off the bat, after the reveal stream was done, that if Beyond Light ends up being like this thing where, like kind of like Shadowkeep, how the story for Shadowkeep was really good, at least in my opinion, but then season 8 was just trash or garbage, then I'll be quitting. But I don't think I'll necessarily be quitting right away, because I kind of want to give year 4 a chance. I want year 4, since year 3 was kind of like unfair. It's like at the start of year 3, you know, they left Activision and they were pretty much bare bones with what they have and what they were able to give us. But I feel like year 4 is kind of like Bungie's proving grounds, where it's just like, okay, you had a year to build up everything to show us what you can do. Now it's time to actually like start showing us what you can do. Even if it takes like a couple seasons inside of year 4, I feel like this is their year to show that like they can stand as a standalone company and still be able to invest into Destiny the way they want to.
Yeah, okay, I'll give that to you. Like I said, it's gonna be hard.
It's definitely going to be hard.
We're ever gonna do.
100%.
It's possible.
It's definitely possible. I just really hope, and it probably won't happen, but I really hope that the Destiny community also sees that Bungie is actually trying. Like they're trying their best, because I will admit, we probably have been a lot more harsher to Bungie than we probably should have, due to frustration with the game and how the game currently is. Sure, we're not saying that, like, you know, they haven't done anything bad with the game, because they very much have, with PvP and like trials in particular. But like I said, like we said, they probably genuinely weren't prepared for the amount of hackers that there was going to be. Of course, people say that, like, you know, you should expect hackers and everything. It's just like making a game.
Not on that scale.
Yeah, exactly. Like making a game, of course you're going to expect people that they're going to be hacking and they're going to be selling account recoveries and stuff like that. You have to expect stuff like that.
Just because you're expecting something doesn't mean it can't still surprise you.
Exactly. Because, like, you can expect a thing to happen, but you can't expect the scale. Because
yeah, you can expect an explosion. You don't know what it's going to be like, though.
Right. You're not expecting the size of the explosion. You're not expecting how many people are actually going to die from that explosion. If people are going to die from that explosion, what's the lasting effects going to be?
Straight up damage that it causes.
Exactly.
To things that you wouldn't think of.
Exactly.
Like, oh, this tiny piece of shrapnel nicked a water main that then caused a whole bunch of flooding in this building.
Right. It kind of reminds me.
It didn't even directly damage the building.
Right. Exactly. It kind of reminds me of how ill-received the Felwinter's Live quest was going to be, because it was going to be really good, but just like how quality assistance testing goes, I don't know if that's the exact term of it. I'm just thinking that's what it is, because it's QA assistance. But the bug testing, the way bug testing goes is, of course, they have to bug test before they ship out a patch or the game itself. Bungie, you can't just not do that as a developer. That's suicide almost. You can't just like not test your game. Of course they tested their game, but even they said that like the bug that was happening that they couldn't replicate. Usually if there's a bug that you want to fix that's fixable, you're able to replicate it. Eventually they did end up replicating it. They were obviously able to fix it, because a lot of people ended up with Felwinter's Lie, as seen in the Crucible now. They were able to fix it, but like a lot of people fail to understand that, you know, there's just some stuff that you can't predict. Essentially, like the size of that said bug, or yeah, exactly. Like the size of this, like the actual scale of the amount of hackers, like just all of that. And I think they need to give like this almost sense of like leeway for Bungie in a way. But I mean, we shouldn't make excuses for them. But like,
yeah, we still I'm gonna speak for myself here. I'm not putting words in your mouth.
Yes.
I am still kind of pissed at them for a couple of different reasons, but I still enjoy the game.
Yeah.
I still want it to do well. Like, I still have a lot of faith in Bungie, even though they've really messed with that philosophy of 9 in these times. But yeah, like, I still want the game to do well.
Exactly.
I'm excited to see where the story takes us.
Yeah.
And I hope I will be coming back to it. And yeah, but for right now, I'm semi-retired. Like, that's just the state of how things are right now.
Yeah, basically for Neagle 9, he's essentially waiting to see what happens next season.
Yeah.
It's like, so he won't be joining, so for future, well, for the coming future for Destiny 2, with Beyond Light specifically, he's not going to be joining me right off the bat. He's waiting to see how, like, you know, the first couple of days go, maybe the first week, depending on when the raid comes out.
I'm waiting for the first month, honestly.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting that long.
Oh, you're not going to participate in the raid race?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like, it's, for me, it's to see how they're gonna react to the PvP aspect of the Stasis abilities.
Ah, okay.
Because I am a PvP main. That's what I actually really truly care about.
Right.
The raids are fascinating and they're enjoyable, but they're not the end-all be-all for me.
Right.
So yeah, I've never been a PvE guy. I've always been like, okay, I've been objectively driven. I'm like, okay, I need to get this stuff so I can do these things.
Right.
Even as a solo player, I do that. Like, okay, I set objectives out for myself and get things done. For RuneScape, that was doing quests. So I'm like, okay, I need to grind for these gear so I can be able to do this aspect of this quest.
Mm-hmm.
For Skyrim, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna be going over to this portion of the world, and I need to do these things.
Right.
And for Destiny, originally, the whole point of me being a solo player was PvP and just getting my skills up the shop.
Yeah.
Eventually, I actually did go into competitive when it first came out, and I was like, oh, hey, this is actually kind of neat. And that was how I survived, because I was by myself. I couldn't raid. I couldn't do like really high level strikes. So I just did PvP. So the fact that it is so poor, the quality of life in the Crucible in general, is a really big turnoff for me. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna get this next season until I see improvement.
And that's 100%
really
fair.
Sad, because I love this game. I really do. The feel of this game is unlike any other.
I agree.
So yeah, I still love this game. It's just in a rough patch.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, you're almost waiting to see what happens.
Yeah, I really am.
But you're also crossing your fingers at the same time.
I'm avidly watching all the videos that all the other content creators are making. And I'm just like, okay, this is how things are progressing. This is interesting. But when I'm jumping into the game, I'm just like, oh, right. And now I have to deal with the gameplay.
Yeah.
So.
Unfortunately, that is the current state and how things are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate with the way things are currently. But that's why I honestly believe that, like, Crucible is going to get better in year 4. And either that or it'll be... I mean, for all we know, Crucible probably might not even, like, start improving until, like, the end of year 4. But then, like, year 5 is going to be, like, this whole resurgence of Crucible. At least a part of it, anyway. Like, it's we'll just have to wait and see for that, unfortunately.
Okay,
but
non sequitur again. I went up to one of those roving bands of pikes. That's in the EDC. I bust out my super. All 3 of them jumped off their bike and then ran.
That's funny.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
One of them actually jumped back on the bikes once he realized his buddies were dead and just start boosting away.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, but yeah, so I don't know, man. I really want it to be like ready as soon as possible because those stasis abilities look terrifying, and I want to use them.
Yeah.
But I know how finicky ice is to balance within a PvP environment. Even PvE, like within Skyrim, ice mages were my bane as a dude that runs around with 2 axes out.
Right.
So yeah, it was just like I couldn't. Every single time I tried to get close to them, my stamina bar just disappeared. I slowed to like what was essentially over-encumbered speeds, and I was just like, I can't move. So yeah, bad experiences with that. And then there's a real life frostbite. So yeah, overall, just like balance, please.
Yeah. Like that's why I said like I definitely feel like we're definitely going to balance it in some aspects because everybody is looking at this and they're just like, okay, Bungie, come on, you know that's really strong. Like even in PvE, you know that's really strong. Like, come on now.
That's why I said I'm gonna wait like a full month maybe.
That's fair.
Depending on how things go. If I see a drastic improvement very quickly, then yeah, I'll jump back on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, man, like some of those things look pretty nice.
Yeah, it does. It looks really good. But like you said, for you, if it ain't there for PvP, you probably won't touch it.
Yeah,
for a little bit.
Really sad because I got a lot of good friends that are like, hey, like Mercy the other day. It was like, I'm sad to see you go, but I understand.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh.
Like I'm not dying or anything. I'm
Yeah.
not going anywhere. It's just I'm not gonna be there immediately. So.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that's enough about me. So regarding the whole aspect of where am I going with this? How do I want to articulate this? Actually, I should say. I'm trying to make a point here. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like the fact that there are a lot of people who are angry at the game, but are still playing it, and they're actively trying to get it to shut down. I'm looking at mostly the people who are running those hacks that are like just griefing, essentially.
Yeah.
They're not even actually trying to win, they're just griefing. I don't know how they're gonna react to a system where, 60% of the game is gone? Like, are they gonna double down on the fact that they're gonna be, like, doing stuff? Or are they gonna be backing off? Like, what's the reaction of the hackers gonna be?
Oh, yeah, huh?
Yeah. That's the point I was trying to articulate. Like,
okay.
Because not all of them are malicious. Like,
True.
some of them are actually, like, what's the term? Gray hat? Where they're still profiting, but they're also proving a point. Like, hey, Bungie, this is what's going on. Fix.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, there are non-malicious hackers that, like, are just like, okay, Bungie, let me help you out real quick.
Yeah, I believe the term is white hat.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, you pay me, and I will hack into your system and tell you what's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of companies like actually do that.
Yeah, they actively do that. Yeah, that's the thing.
It's so that they can improve their systems.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably what's actually happening. That's probably why we won't see anything for like anti-cheat until like Beyond Light comes out at the least. Which,
I hope that's what's happening.
Yeah,
it's not just
I hope
happening regardless.
Right.
But I don't know that it is happening. So.
Right. Yeah, and I mean like they wouldn't tell us either.
Yeah, the pessimist that I am, I usually assume the worst.
Yeah. But yeah, like because it's the whole same thing with like with hackers, you almost have to keep your cards close to your chest because you don't want them to know, so they can like build around your anti-cheat. So
yeah,
that's one of those you just have to sit and wait, and it sucks because of course you want to be able to play again, but it's just like no one lets to see it. And like with the way like Bungie basically did you dirty in like the faith department, it's kind of hard to like trust it a little bit, which I do understand.
Yeah, like I'm reiterating now, they were one of the biggest game studios for a long time, and now they're classified as indie.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking. Like on so many levels, just wrong for me.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be an indie company, but that's where they went.
That's actually kind of like where they unfortunately have to be.
I know, like it's where they need to be, but I don't want them to be that because for me, call it elitist, call it whatever. For me, indie is like kind of lower on the totem pole for like companies.
I could say so.
Yeah, like they have limited funding to do stuff.
Very true.
So they can't do what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is most unfortunate for sure. But I feel like Bungie definitely could pull it off if, if things go as planned.
Yeah, and they need to jump through a lot of hoops.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I won't sit here and say that, like, it's not possible, because it definitely is. Because everything's possible. Negatively and positively. For all we know, year 4 could be literally that year for Destiny, and it just takes off. And it's literally a AAA game, and it's the number 1 played game. Right, it'll be like the number 1 played game for the next few years to come. Like, that could very easily happen if things are done right, and like if things go as planned. And it's the same thing with sunsetting, which I will touch on a little bit, because that also needs to be spoken about.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, but because like that's actually a major topic, so I wanted to save that for the end, since we're actually coming to a close anyway. But like, and then on the other side of the coin, it could very much this year could be a lot worse than year 3 was, and Destiny could just tank, and like year 4 could be the last year of Destiny for a lot of people. I mean, because year 3 is the last year for Destiny for a lot of people. I'm pretty sure they're also watching, but like a lot of people quit because Crucible, because they just don't find it fun. Maybe they're lost and they don't know what to do, and they just find it boring. It's just a whole lot of stuff that like is equating to people quitting. And I feel like everybody is watching year 4, at least the launch of Beyond Light. Everybody's looking like, okay.
There's a lot of eyeballs on this upcoming season.
100%
in general.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot of eyes on this season, but like everybody's watching this year and how it plays out, because it's like I've said at the reveal of Beyond Light, or like before, or as it was happening, or I think, and also at the end, where like Bungie is good at 2 things during the live game: starting a year and ending the year. And that's very, we saw it 100% happen with Forsaken. We saw it happen with this year. They started out strong with Shadowkeep, and they ended strong with a Season of Arrivals, because it's doing relatively extremely well despite the current state of PvP. But PvP has always been like a really finicky place. Despite how fun it may have felt, it's always been a really finicky place. Wouldn't you agree with me on that?
Yeah, no, the fact that one of the canon medals is to wipe out the enemy team and then 1 extra person before anything else happens, it just kind of shows you what kind of a game it is.
Exactly.
You're supposed to kill the first person again within, what, a 15-second time frame?
Yep.
Like, you need to overkill the team.
Exactly.
By yourself.
So yeah, like PvP has always been like a really finicky place, but like even with Forsaken started out really strong. It's arguably one of Destiny's best expansions. And that's even comparing it to like Taken King, which was one of the best for the longest time. But I honestly believe that Forsaken took the cake for me as like the best expansion. Sure, I called Season 11 the best season, but Shadowkeep was definitely not the best expansion. Because Season of the Outlaw, which was what Forsaken was arguably the best expansion by far. It was the best starting expansion, season as well, because like everything after Forsaken, the main story of Forsaken ended, like the rest of the season held up extremely well. And then of course the middle sections of that year didn't really hold up for me. Forges were kind of boring. Joker's Wild, although started out pretty good, it just died for me heavy. I won't go into the reasons why because we're running out of time, but we made a video on it.
We've made
last year
videos about all the seasons.
Yeah.
Almost all of them.
Right.
Ever since Forsaken, I think.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we started with Forsaken, but yeah, like, and then the end of year 2, which was the whole menagerie stuff, was so good.
That was really good.
Because like they're good at starting years, they're good at ending years, and setting up the next year. Because Shadowkeep was set up extremely well. And then Shadowkeep hit. Shadowkeep was really good. Season 8 was not. Season 9 what started out good with the whole Saving Saint 14, and then the rest of it was bad. Except for the Corridors of Time part, which is really cool. And then Season 10 was terrible. And then Season 11 is really good.
Okay, we get the idea. So, moving on to the vaulting, since we need to move on to topics because we're running out of time.
Right.
What's the general consensus for it, pre-video?
So, before before the TWAB that came out about what's actually being vaulted, and the reasons why things are being vaulted, well, specifically talking about the video, a lot of people were really confused. And I think the general consensus was these things that are going away are never coming back for some reason. I don't know why people thought that these planets were just going away forever.
Yeah, I'll just put this out here right now. That was never my assumption.
Right. But it was the assumption for apparently a lot of the player base. Which baffled me, because
indeed,
I, as a person that is hungry for information, I love information and knowing about Steve. Even when it comes down to like knowing raid mechanics, I want to know how they work.
And that's why you're Warlock.
Yeah, and like I want to know information, so I'm going to read everything, even if it may not like be super important. I'll read everything when it comes to Destiny, at least, and like. I'll know the information, so like when it comes up, I'll just be like, yeah, how did you not know? It's sometimes a fault of mine where like I'm expecting people to also read everything. I will admit that like I have messed up in the past about that for some of our friends, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
We're human.
Yeah, you know, I'm learning.
Human.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
But
yeah.
But after that, the general consensus was just like, oh, okay, we're actually cool with this. This is fine.
Yeah, but so for the TWAB, in response to that, because I don't know what was said in the TWAB.
Oh.
Did they actually address the what happened?
No, they didn't.
Really?
And the reason why was because like it was mainly about, you know, the trailer that was shown today. Then they did a little bit of an early patch note preview for the 8th. And just to read it off, they're essentially buffing the Solstice of Heroes ornamental glows, making them brighter, which is nice. They're fixing sleeper nodes. I won't go into detail on that. Then they're fixing an issue where the player's spawn effects would freeze and gambit, fixing an issue where the ADS on the cold denial Season Pass ornament was different than the base weapon model. Redrick's broadsword will now be available to reclaim from collections.
Yeah, I saw that bit.
This will be locked to the first role rewarded, though, when completing the broadsword quest. Strider will begin offering 3 weekly wanted adventure bounties up from 1, and fixing an issue that prevented the exotic perk on the Merciless fusion rifle from triggering. Of course, there will be more on the actual patch day, but you know, that was essentially the TWAB.
Okay.
There was nothing like special
So
or specific.
They didn't talk about anything that happened in the community.
See, the thing is, I feel like they just felt like they didn't have to. Because
interesting.
I honestly believe that there was no breach of NDA.
Okay. Well, if that's true, then wow, dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, because I feel like if there was, something definitely would have been said. But no one said a word about it. None of the devs said a word about it. Deej didn't say a word about it. DMG didn't say a word about it. Cosmo, like,
none of them.
Nobody said a word about it. So. And then Astacross, he's still doing stuff. He streamed, he posted a video. So I mean, hey. He's good. Cuz if anything, like if it went bad for him, that video probably would have been taken down.
Yeah, in all honesty, yes.
And it's still up.
Vaulting.
So
back
yeah.
to that.
So not necessarily just vaulting now. We should definitely talk about sunsetting.
Yeah. Prickly topic, sunsetting, even more so than vaulting.
But it has to be talked about because
yeah.
because the community, although the community is now unified for like the whole vaulting thing, they're still not unified on sunsetting. And I have issues with that in particular.
Okay, so give me the lay of the land. What exactly is sunsetting, and what are the major opinions on all of it?
So sunsetting essentially is, even though said weapons aren't going away, you know, repeat offenders like Mountaintop, Recluse, Revoker, they're not going away. It's just you won't be able to use them, or any weapon that's capped at 1060, in high-end activities like raids that require above 1060 power, or Iron Banner, or Trials of Osiris, or Nightfall ordeals that are higher than 1060. And the general, well, the major points for this are, well, the general consensus on both sides is, on the positive side, it's good that we're getting a refresh of, like, you know, stuff to get. It's good that we're, you know, getting fresh new stuff to collect, and cool new weapons to use, and fun new weapons to use. But then, on the downside, the weapons that we acquired and the weapons that we fell in love with cannot be brought in the hard activities that we might actually find fun.
Yeah, that, I mean, like, we ground our booties off so far that we probably, it's just bone down there, honestly, or marrow at this point.
Right.
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
But we can't bring a single iota of that to, like, raids. We can't bring that to trials. Like, we can't bring that to the stuff that actually matters, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, many people have talked about it many different ways. I am honestly so tired of arguing about what should be done about, like, balancing for things. Like, I'm beyond the point of just like, you know what, just do whatever. Which is really, really sad.
Well, see, like, and here's the thing with that thinking and mentality, and like what everybody is kind of like, what the majority is kind of feeling, because like the majority like has the same mindset you have, where it's just like, this isn't great. Why are you taking away my like time, essentially my invested time and my well-earned loot. And like, of course you can make the argument that, you know, like it's not actually going away, they're not deleting these weapons, but they might as well be, because they can't be used in like Iron Banner, can't be used in trials, which is one of the major like arguing point, and raids as well. But like the more talked about point is, I can't bring this into Iron Banner, I can't bring this into trials.
Yeah, like how hard was it to acquire Mountaintop for you?
It was incredibly difficult for me.
How hard was it to acquire Luna's Howl? Not that it's actually good anymore, but how hard was it for us to acquire it?
It was incredibly difficult.
Yeah, and then well, 21% really wasn't honestly that hard for me. I was about to say, like,
it wasn't.
The Gambit? Well, maybe the Python for some people.
But yeah, like it's the whole, why are you taking away my weapons? And it's, and Esther Krause actually made a good point on Twitter, although I think he was just ranting, but he made a point saying that like sunsetting should not be an excuse for balancing, like sandbox tuning.
He went on a giant like tirade of like 20 or 30 minutes. It's hard to tell, but he went pretty much over every single detail. So
yeah,
just look to that, because he explains it better than I probably ever could.
Probably explains it better than I could ever. I saw the video and I was just like, makes a fair point.
Yeah, because the vitriol was there, but also were the points.
Yeah, because like I see, and here's the thing, I understand it. I understand both sides. I understand the frustration, because, you know, I did finally get a trench, like a curated version of the what was the kinetic shotgun?
Python?
No, from Scourge.
Paradox? Oh, Scourge. Oh god.
The curated shotgun.
I haven't done that enough.
I think you've gotten it.
You got that gun.
Yeah, I definitely have it, but
so you have it, and
I finally got it, but like I'm just holding on to it because I know I'm not going to be able to use it later. But see, that part sucks, because I have a God-World Waking Vigil that I know I won't be able to use anymore.
Threat level.
Yeah, threat level, that's what it was. I have a God-World Waking Vigil that I know I won't be able to use anymore. Although, of course, I can still use it in normal PvP, but that's beside the point. We're not talking about that.
Yeah.
Because, of course...
We're talking about a regular PvP right now.
Right.
That's another beast.
Because, like, of course, you can still use all of these weapons and, like, all this gear and everything and stuff that doesn't require power. But, like, that's not the point. That's not the point here. That's not what people are mad about. They know that they can continue to use their beloved and their Revoker and Mountaintop in regular PvP. They know that's not going away.
Oh, yeah.
But
free game, open season.
Exactly. But it's the fact that there's a lot of people that love Trials and love Iron Banner, and they're not able to use their favorite weapons in those. And I completely understand that. I fully get it. But I'm a rare case where I only have a couple of weapons where I feel that way. There, a majority.
Hey, you're a hand cannon main. You've been using that pretty much forever.
Yeah, but a majority of what's going away, I actually genuinely don't care about. Like, because there isn't a weapon that I feel like, why is this going away? Other than like maybe Waking Vigil, maybe Spare Rations, maybe.
Spare Rations, right? Wow.
Yeah, because I finally got roll one of those.
Yeah, I remember that, you talking about it.
Yeah, but like, I don't feel that way towards any other gun in Destiny, specifically because other than exotics, because I love the exotics and they're not going away, so I'm not worried about that. But other than exotics, there isn't one legendary weapon that's a kinetic or primary that I'm just like, yeah, I love this.
What about Revoker?
I don't like Revoker.
Oh, right. You actually don't like it. I forgot.
No, I deleted mine. Like the moment where, the moment when we figured out that like, you know, things are getting sunsetted, I deleted it. I was just like, cool, yes, great, perfect. Same thing for Mountaintop and Recluse. I don't like them. Sure, they're strong, but like I don't like them. I don't enjoy the fact that like having those makes you feel like you have to use them because they're really strong.
Still using like weird weaponry.
Well, yeah, true.
You know how I do.
Right, yeah, but it's the same thing where like the whole like using things to your advantage. You're going to use, if you're a normal player, 9 times out of 10 you're going to use Revoker, you're going to use Beloved, you're going to use the Spare Rations, and you're probably going to use a Mountaintop. So
yeah,
that's just the state of Crucible, and it sucks.
Everything is a special fight.
Exactly, and that see, I feel like we should have a PvP discussion specifically, like on another day.
Gonna have to be another time.
Yeah, I was about to say in another day. It was like we're actually really running short now, but the PvP is just a mess. But like on the other side, because we talked about the negative side, but on the other side, on the positive side, there are actually a lot of positives for sunsetting that I think people actually fail to realize. And I think also people don't realize that we had sunsetting in Destiny 1.
Yeah, 100%.
And people, after getting over it and accepting it, it wasn't that bad. Like the sunsetting in Destiny 1 wasn't that bad. And like, cause of course people still hold on to their old weapons, sure, but like, it wasn't that bad. Like, Bungie actually followed through with making fun weapons, fun and good weapons, to replace the weapons that we had in Destiny 1. Like,
yeah, and they're still making really weird and crazy weapons. I mean,
just look at the ones on the screen.
Crazy.
They look wild and crazy.
Yeah.
Like I literally have some of the weapons on the screen right now.
Oh no!
They look wild and crazy.
I'm in there too, man.
Like you're fine. But yeah, like they look wild and crazy, and they look interesting. So I'm not denying that like they're gonna have really good and fun weapons and probably really nice perks. Although along with nice perks, there's gonna be bad perks. There has to be balance. But yeah, see, like on if you look at Neagle 9's stream, yeah. Like he has all the weapons on his screen. Well, at least it seems like the vendor weapons. It seems like the vendor weapons that you're gonna get from like wherever the vendor is on Europa. It seems like those are the vendor weapons because there's no hand cannon there. Because like if you notice, there's no hand cannon there. That's a sidearm.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And a lot of people are actually upset about that on Twitter, of course.
Well, I mean, sort of, sidearms are superior to I can't even say it. I
was about to say, come on, bro.
I can't even say it.
I was about to say, no. Come on, bro. But like we all know, no matter how much you love sidearms, we all know.
Exactly.
The hand cannons are a little bit better, but yeah.
Auto rifles reign supreme overall.
Currently, until they get nerfed into the ground again. But welcome to anyway.
Yeah, these things are weird looking, and I'm interested to see how they actually are gonna function. But
yeah,
even if these things are gonna be just bog standard, the designs are interesting.
Very interesting.
And I'm looking forward to what the new exotics are gonna bring to the field, because there's gonna be a whole bunch of new stasis stuff.
Oh, 100% there are.
So because with the new transfiguration orbs we get, that was wacky. That it created a new weapon from a weapon.
Yep.
That's insane. And even some of the catalysts that were like put onto stuff, like I'm using the Trinity Ghoul, and the fact that it now has like
it's so strong.
An arc every single time, it's super amazing.
See, like,
But even before that, Cerberus gets a small little thing where you just smack the side of it, and suddenly it's now a shotgun with a 28 magazine.
See,
like,
and
those things are innovative.
And here's the
I'd
thing.
love to see more of this.
Here's what I don't exactly like with the whole argument of like, well, with the majority of the reasons why people don't like sunsetting, they don't think that Bungie can come up with new and exciting guns, and that part does not make sense to me.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
they have. Look at the past seasons. They've come up with strong guns. They've come up with exciting and interesting guns. And we're not even talking about exotics.
Even some of the legendaries are fascinating.
That's what I'm talking about.
Martyr's Retribution. That thing is a wave grenade launcher.
I was about to say, it's one of the only...
a giant fire
right.
at you.
It's one of the only grenade launchers that can actually do that, actually.
Exactly. I think it is the only one.
It is the only one.
Yeah.
And then there's also only a few sidearms that shoot twice. That shoot out double bullets.
Exactly. Like, there's a lot of them that do triple, but not very many of them do double, like this guy.
Exactly.
But the fact that it can do osmosis as well, which is an interesting perk in and of itself.
True. And then
it
there's...
essentially makes a minor adept weapon.
Actually true, yeah. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But then like, they also... I don't know if people remember, although it wasn't that great of a hand cannon, they did release a hand cannon that was a 2-round burst.
Right, yeah, that thing.
Warden's Law.
What do we call it? Warden's Law, yeah.
So I'm not doubting... Like, I can never sit here... I can't sit here and say that Bungie won't come out with new and interesting guns and probably really good guns or fun guns that will replace the stuff that we have, because they've done it before. Back in Destiny 1 and literally all of Destiny 2's lifespan. If we look at the first year of Destiny, Destiny 2, they didn't have great guns. Well, they had decent guns, actually, because there was a lot of guns that were actually really good.
Better Devils.
Yeah.
Better Devils or nothing.
Better Devils and Antiope D.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they had good guns.
Uriel's the bane of year one.
Right, exactly. And a lot of people love that gun. But see, the thing is, the thing is though, is the fact that like they easily, and I mean easily, made guns in year 2 that blew those guns out of the water. Of course, there were like a few nerfs to like certain archetypes or whatever that helped it, but either way, they still made really cool and really good and really fun, interesting guns. And like, I can't see and I can't get behind how people can just sit there and be like, they will never make something as good as Recluse. They will never make something as good as Mountaintop. They will never make something as good as Beloved or Revoker, because that is
those things weren't
a huge lie.
They just had really good perks.
Well,
that was what was going on for them.
Mountaintop is pretty unique.
Well, there's also Malicious Birthright, which is pretty close to what it can do.
True.
So.
But yeah, like either way, it just like you can't sit there and say Bungie cannot make any more new and interesting weapons, because they have. There's proof. All of year 3, all of year 2 is literally proof. Like, despite how you may have felt in those seasons, you can't deny the fact that Bungie did make like interesting and still used guns.
Mm-hmm.
So like, sure, sunsetting sucks. It's gonna suck for a little bit until we find, you know, the new meta or those good weapons. But it's not the end of the world.
We'll adapt.
Yeah, like we've done it in the past. It's
we'll
just
find new favorites.
Exactly. Because I mean, sure, I think like another part of like what people are worried about is like they're just gonna reissue a bunch of weapons. I don't think that's the case. I think the only reason why they reissued some weapons this season is because they can't give us the new weapons yet until next season. And it also and we'll wrap this up here. I'll say this last topic, and then we'll wrap it up. But
I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. So do I. My voice is dying. But
Oh, sorry.
it's all good. But the one thing that I don't necessarily like is the fact that people, not only are they saying that, like, Bungie can't, do it all again, essentially, is that they think because Bungie's not showing everything that this is all they have. And the crazy part is Bungie was literally yelled at because of season 9 that they revealed too much and they set the expectations too high, and now, like, like, Bungie's bad for that. So Bungie was just like, okay, we'll only show the major parts. We won't show all the secret stuff. We won't show the exotics you guys are getting, by the way. We may tease about it in trailers, but that's it. And then everybody literally throughout this season was just like, so that's it for this season? That's it? You don't tell us anything about Ruinous Effigy?
Wrapping up. Yeah, that's...
I hate that.
General consensus that, yeah, you can't win with that kind of stuff.
You can't.
Regarding, like, the public and stuff, you can't win.
Yeah.
No.
But I digress. That's a personal issue.
I'm just looking forward to what next season has to offer.
Yep.
Despite the fact that I'm not going to be participating in it for
at least
a
the
while.
First part of the season.
Yeah, like the main thing that I'm going for right now is the 2020 seal. That's what I've been working for, and I'm actually gonna buy the physical seal and have it transported to my parents' place because I'm not transporting to mine because I don't trust like what's gonna happen to the postal service.
Fair.
So I'm just like, I don't know if it might make it here, but it might just vanish overnight.
True, easily.
Who knows? So
Probably
yeah,
not.
I'm gonna be sending it there, and then they bring it to me physically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the major thing that I'm trying to accomplish this season because there's not too much else going on. And depending on how things go, that's like the last thing that I'm gonna be doing in Destiny for a good long while. So yeah, kind of.
Is that your final thoughts, or do you have like
no?
a
Well,
little more?
I mean, I am looking forward to like all the stuff. Like I can't overstate that I do love this game.
Right.
And yeah, like the stasis stuff, man, that's a game changer, literally.
It is.
As is the fact that
It's
they're
gonna change a
removing
lot.
60% of the game.
Yep.
Which is.
There's gonna be a lot of changing.
So, yeah, that's gonna be all for me for now.
My closing thoughts are basically, I'm excited for the things to come. I'm really trusting Bungie. I'm putting all my faith into year 4. I'm all in on year 4. And if it just doesn't work out, year 4 might be my last year with Destiny. Might be because, like, who knows how year 5 is gonna be. But I'm all in on Destiny 4. I'm Destiny 4. Year
Destiny 4. You heard it here, folks.
Right.
Destiny 4 is in the works.
No, but I'm all in on year 4 for Destiny 2, and I'm excited for what's coming, and I'm also, if things do go bad, it just is what it is. If things go great, I'll be happy. If it goes bad, really unfortunate. But at the end of the day, I'll still be playing until the game just isn't worth playing to me anymore. So yeah, I can't wait, and I'm excited for everything to come. That's all. That's it for now. Tomorrow we have D&D. Should be a lot of fun.
Oh boy.
And yeah, things are wrapping
my
up.
character's gonna die.
Yeah, but yeah, like you always you felt that like for the past few
even
sessions.
more so now.
Oh yeah.
Events have occurred.
True.
No, because I met up with another player today, and there's like, yeah, I kind of want to just slit the cat's throat, and a person I was in call with said, like, "Oh, you're probably being too harsh." Then I explained it to them, and they said, "Yeah, no, just slit the cat's throat."
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of pressure on the poor little cat.
Yeah, but yeah, we don't want to give too much detail, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Love you all very much. Stay tuned for more chats like this as we get closer to Beyond Light, and the more Bungie starts to reveal more things, like with the things happening on September 1st, September 3rd, and September 8th. We will be talking about those as they come out, either on that day or we'll do it on a specific day after they all come out. We'll see, but things will be talked about, and yeah, we're gonna have a PvP discussion. We're gonna have more Beyond Light discussion. I'll probably try and bring in more some of the clan mates, see how they feel about certain stuff, and like talk about what they're feeling for the future of Destiny 2. And yeah, so yeah, that's it. Love you all very much. See you all for D&D tomorrow, and stay awesome. Bye.
Bye.